Hello friends, this is my 26th lecture in Signal System series. My name is Nishtha Verma. The topic which I am going to cover in this lecture will be the importance of Z transform, the ROC concept in Z transform, and stability and causality concept in Z transform. Now first of all, importance of Z transform. We know that when we need to change time domain into frequency domain, we need to perform some transform. It may be Fourier transform, it may be Laplace transform, it may be Z transform. As we remember, in case of whenever we were talking about Laplace transform, the derivation of Laplace transform we used to get from continuous time Fourier transform. And we also know that there was some drawback in continuous time Fourier transform. That's why we were going towards Laplace transform. What were those drawbacks were? If you remember, in case of continuous time Fourier transform, it was necessary that particular signal should fulfill Dirichlet condition, then only the signal was valid for Fourier transform. But because of that reason, we were going towards a Laplace transform, because in case of Laplace transform, there was no such restriction. Only the thing was the signal should be continuous time. If signal is continuous time signal, then we were able to find the Laplace transform. Only the existence come in question. That's why we go towards ROC of the Laplace transform. So basically, in case of Fourier transform, wherever the j omega was there, instead of that, in case of Laplace transform, we were putting sigma plus j omega. As we know that just by changing j omega to sigma plus j omega enlarges the capability of transform to handle much more larger class of signal, because there were so many signal whose Fourier transform was not possible, but because of Laplace transform we were able to find the transform of those particular signals. Now there are still drawback of Laplace transform is that because Laplace transform is only for continuous time signal. Now what about the discrete signal? So that's why we go towards a Z transform. As we know that the formula for discrete time Fourier transform is nothing but summation xn e to the power minus j omega n. And for the Z transform, the formula is xz sigma xn z minus n, where z is nothing but r into j omega. How it is coming? We know that here e is equal to minus j omega. So instead of e to the power j omega, we are replacing it by r e to the power j omega, where r is the radius. In case of Fourier transform, the r value is equal to 1. But in case of Z transform, r can be varied. So that's why we also can say that in r e j omega is nothing but it follows a polar coordinate system. So when we talk about the ROC of the Z transform, we will see that r is nothing but a radius, and where omega is changing means angle is changing from 0 degree to 360 degrees. So that's why ROC of the Z transform is always in the form of circle, while if you remember, in case of Laplace transform, ROC was always a parallel line with respect to imaginary axis, because there sigma plus j omega was there. So sigma was a constant and j omega was variable. So that's why sigma, that is pole, was constant and it was changing. That's why the ROC of Laplace transform was always a parallel line. Now if r equal to 1, then the transform will become discrete time Fourier transform. Otherwise it will be a Z transform. Now ROC concept in Z transform, like in Laplace transform, Z transform always have a question of existence. That's why ROC is also important in Z transform as it was for Laplace transform. The formula for Z transform we already have discussed. So where Z is nothing but r e to the power j omega. So I already told you the this will be the real axis for Z transform. This will be imaginary axis for Z transform. and suppose r is over here, so we are going to plot a circle because r is our radius, that is a constant value, it will remain constant, but because of omega the angle is going to change from 0 degree to 360 degree. That's why the ROC of the Z transform is always in the form of circle. So whatever is said about j omega axis in Laplace transform will valid for unit circle. Why unit circle is coming in picture? Because in discrete time Fourier transform, as I have already told you, in discrete time Fourier transform, r is equal to 1. So that's why r equal to 1 is very important. When we talk about unity circle, it's very important. So that's why we will see that when r equal to 1 comes in a picture, then a stability thing will come, which we will discuss later on. Now we will take one numerical and we will see that how we plot a ROC of particular numerical. So as we know that if this numerical is given, so we know the formula, that is xz is equal to nothing but summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity xn z minus n, because here un is there, so that's why limit will be from n equal to 0 to infinity, and instead of xn it will be an and z minus n. So we can also write it as n equal to 0 to infinity a into z minus 1 n. As you remember the series formula for n equal to 0 to infinity, an is nothing but 1 upon 1 minus a. So here it will become the 1 upon 1 minus, here a instead of a it is a into z inverse. So it will so when we change inverse into simple z, so it will become z upon z minus a. So this is a z transform. So now ROC concept come, because we know that here un is there, so that's why z minus a is greater than 0. So we can say that z is greater than a. So when we plot the ROC, we will see that a is nothing but a radius, so it can be a minus or plus because it is a radius, so obviously we are going to plot a circle. So it is our real z-axis and it is our imaginary z-axis. So because z is greater than a, so that's why the ROC will be outside the circle. As in case of Laplace transform, we have seen the right-sided sequence. It was always towards right side. In the same way, in Z transform, it is outside the circle. So it is nothing but right-sided sequence. So right-sided sequence means ROC should be outside the circle. Now next, one more numerical I am taking. In this, first of all, we know the formula. The formula is again n equal to minus infinity to infinity xn z minus n. So because we need to take the limits, so first of all we should know what the limit will be. As you know, un is nothing but unit step signal in discrete domain, so u minus n will be the mirror image, means at the left side all the samples will come. It will start from 0 and it will go up to minus n. So but here u minus n minus 1 is there, it means we are going to shift the signal towards left side. So it is u minus n, and u minus n minus 1 will start from minus 1 value. So it is minus 1 and it will go up to minus n. So only the difference is in u minus n sample was present at 0, but in u minus n minus 1 the sample is not present at 0. So here we can see that limit will be this minus sign will come, and the limit will be from n equal to minus infinity to minus 1 only. Now an z minus n. Now we have to simplify this. We know that we can, because the limits are negative, we can make it positive. How we will do that? We can write it as n equal to 1 to infinity, and here instead of n we will place minus n. So as right now it will be, we can write it as minus n equal to minus infinity to minus 1, a into z minus 1 n is there. So this we will change it as a inverse z and n. I have just changed here z inverse was there, now here a inverse is there. So now as we know the series formula for n equal to 1 to infinity an, the formula is a upon 1 minus a. So here instead of a inverse z will come. So we will get 1 upon 1 minus a inverse z. So when we will try to simplify it, here in the numerator it will come a inverse into z. So when we will try to simplify it, we will get minus z upon a minus z. We can take this minus inside, so we will get z upon z minus a. So now we are going to plot the ROC for this signal. We can see here z minus a is there. So here the transform for this signal as well as this signal was same, right? But the ROC is going to change. So because here u minus n is there, so z minus a will be less than 0. So as we plot the ROC, we will see that because z transform we got is z upon z minus a, where z minus a will be less than 0. So z will be less than a. So when we try to plot it, because minus a will come here, a will come here, and when we plot a circle, we will see that because z is less than a, so ROC will be inside the circle. It is real z-axis, it is imaginary z-axis, and the ROC is inside the circle. As in case of Laplace transform, it was left-sided sequence have left-sided sequence always have left-sided ROC. In the same way, in case of Z transform, left-sided sequences ROC will be inside the circle. That is the difference. Now, if suppose we have to find the ROC for these two expression, we have already find the z transform for this signal. We know that its z transform will be z minus a, and its z transform will be z upon z minus b. But the difference will come when we plot the ROC. Here because un is there, that's why z minus a will be greater than 0, or you can say z is greater than a. And here in this case z minus b, because u minus n is there, so it will be z less than 0 and z will be less than b. So first condition, first of all we will try to plot it. So because ROC will be like this, because it is given a is greater than b, so definitely b will come here, a will come here. We are going to plot two circles, right? So z is greater than a means z is greater for first expression, z is greater than a means ROC is outside the circle, and for second expression z is less than b means ROC is inside the circle. If you remember, whenever two expressions are added or subtracted, the final ROC will be the common area, but here we can see that there is no common area. So here ROC will be equal to 0. There will be no ROC because there is no common area. Now we will check for the second condition when b is greater than a. Here condition is given b is greater than a. We know that first expression is z is greater than a, and second expression is z is less than b. Now they are saying b is greater than a, so definitely a will lie over here, b will be here, and when we draw the circle, in case of first z is greater than a means ROC will be outside the circle, and from a it is going up to infinity. And for second expression z is less than b means it will be inside. So we can change the color. So for this the ROC will be inside the circle. So now if you have to find the common area, we can see that common area is nothing but this ring. So this will be the ROC only. So in this way we can see that how because of the ROC our value changes. Now stability and causality concept. Stability, if ROC of the Z transform will include unit circle, then system will said to be stable. And causal, if ROC will cover the area outside the circle, then system will be called causal. We can see that if suppose we take this example only. Yeah. If suppose here we assume that A is nothing but 2. So definitely 1 will be over here somewhere. So we can see that this ROC is not including one unit circle. So in this case, we can say that this system is unstable because unit circle is not included. So, but when comes to causality, because the condition for causality is it should be outside the circle. Yeah, in this case, ROC is outside the circle. So this system is not stable, but causal. Suppose here in this numerical we assume that A is 2. So suppose A is 2, so somewhere A equal to 1 will lie over here. So we can see that in this case the ROC is including unit circle, so this system is stable system. But when we talk about the causality, we can see that for causality it should be outside the circle, but here the ROC is inside the circle, so that's why it is non-causal system. So in this way, we can find the causality and stability of the system. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.